Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a story that, well, it really had global headlines buzzing.
Absolutely. It sparked accusations of foreign interference, drew in a former U.S. president. I mean, it was quite the saga.
It really was a tale where, truth and rumor did a very complicated dance.
Hmm.
And at the heart of it was this sensational claim, a whopping $21 million from USA,
Right.
supposedly earmarked to boost voter turnout in India.
Which, just hearing it, sounds a bit off, doesn't it?
It does. It instantly sent shockwaves, from New Delhi all the way to Washington.
Yeah, and India, known for its really robust democracy, impressive voter turnout already.
Exactly. Suddenly found itself right in the middle of this tense debate about external influence.
Strange.
So our mission today is to cut through all that noise, try to separate fact from fiction, and follow the money. Or, as we discovered, the surprising lack thereof.
Right, to understand what really happened.
This isn't just reporting. It's a journey into a really tangled web of misinformation and, frankly, international intrigue.
And it's striking, isn't it, how quickly such a specific claim can gain traction.
Yeah.
And just, blow up into this geopolitical spectacle, especially when it touches on something as sensitive as electoral integrity.
In a democracy like India, absolutely.
And there was that immediate puzzle, like you said. India already has remarkably high voter turnout.
Right. Decades of it.
So it genuinely makes you ask, why would such a fund even be needed or welcomed?
That underlying assumption just didn't seem to fit the reality on the ground. It struck a lot of people as curious from the get-go.
Definitely.
Now, this is where the plot really thickens. Our story, it truly kicks off on February 16th, 2025.
Okay.
Picture the scene, the sort of digital airwaves buzzing when the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE.
DOGE, right. The
Yeah.
new entity led by Elon Musk.
Exactly. Tasked with slashing wasteful U.S. government spending. They dropped this bombshell on X, the social media platform.
What was the bombshell exactly?
Among a list of canceled international aid projects, DOGE declared that $21 million had been earmarked by USAID specifically to boost voter turnout in India.
Wow. Okay. Just stated as fact.
Just like that. And this was framed as part of a larger $486 million cut to the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening, CEPPS,
Ah, CEPBS.
which also included some other eyebrow-raising allocations like $22 million for Moldova, $29 million for Bangladesh. But it was India, without a doubt, that grabbed all the headlines.
If you step back a bit, you can see how a single announcement, maybe even with good intentions about efficiency,
Maybe.
can almost instantly become politicized and, well, deeply misunderstood.
Yeah.
The mere mention of India, given its global standing, the world's largest democracy, it practically guaranteed intense international attention.
And the narrative didn't just stop there, did it?
No, it escalated.
Just 2 days later, February 18th, 2025, from Mar-a-Lago, former U.S. President Donald Trump amplified the story.
Right. He weighed in.
He publicly questioned the logic, sending $21 million to India. Described it as economically robust, a highest taxing nation on U.S. goods. He was quite blunt, actually. He said, why are we giving $21 million to India? They got a lot of money there.
Okay. Pretty direct.
Then the very next day, at a summit in Miami, the Future Investment Initiative Summit, he doubled down.
Oh, how so?
He suggested the money was intended to get somebody else elected. Even drew these provocative parallels to alleged Russian interference in U.S. elections.
So he really leaned into the interference angle.
He absolutely did.
And you have to ask, what happens when statements like that are made by, prominent figures without full context or proper verification?
Well, we saw it happen.
We saw an immediate and frankly significant political ripple effect, not just in the U.S., but globally. It shows how quickly these narratives can take hold.
Absolutely. And over in India, the ruling party, the BJP, they quickly saw an opportunity, didn't they?
Ooh, they did. Leaders like Amit Malviya, the IT cell head, and MP Mahesh Jethmalani, they immediately cried foul.
Calling it what? Foreign interference.
Blatant foreign interference in their democracy. Malviya even pointed to a 2012 Memorandum of Understanding, an MOU, between India's Election Commission and IFES, one of the CEPPS partners.
As potential evidence.
Kind of like a smoking gun, yeah. Jeff Malani went further, speculating about the role of the USA India Mission Director, Veena Reddy.
But the opposition, the Congress Party, they pushed back hard
Oh, absolutely. They accused the BJP of basically fabricating a scandal.
to distract, perhaps.
That was the implication. Leaders like Pawan Khera demanded transparency. Jairam Ramesh called for a full white paper on all of USA's activities in India.
So the big question hanging in the air was there any truth to this $21 million claim? Or were we just watching a dramatic case of, I don't know, diplomatic miscommunication spiraling completely out of control?
That was the core mystery.
So how did we actually get to the bottom of this? Well, to unravel it, our team knew we had to, follow the money.
Right.
Or, as it turned out, the complete absence of it. In India, anyway. Our deep dive into meticulous investigations, official records. It revealed a critical twist, a really big one.
And it's remarkable, isn't it, how quickly a diligent, thorough investigation can just dismantle a narrative that spreads so widely.
It really is.
It became abundantly clear that $21 million was never, ever intended for India.
That's the absolute crucial point. The funds were actually allocated to Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
Okay, that's a significant difference.
Huge difference. This was part of a USAID program initially called Amar Vote Amar, which translates to My Vote is Mine.
Yeah.
Later renamed the Nagoric or Citizen program back in November 2022.
So a real program.
A very real program. Sanctioned in July 2022, it even had a specific federal award identification number. Its clear aim was promoting civic engagement, democratic participation among Bangladeshi youth,
Ahead of their elections.
specifically ahead of Bangladesh's January 2024 elections. And by October 2024, a large chunk, $13.4 million, had already been paid out.
To 3 U.S.-based organizations under that CEPS umbrella, AFEEs, the International Republican Institute, IRI, and the National Democratic Institute, NDI.
Okay, so established groups.
Yes, and they were active, organizing over 500 youth events, action projects, democracy sessions, right across Bangladeshi university campuses.
So tangible activity on the ground in Bangladesh.
Absolutely. A USAID advisor in Dhaka even confirmed the funding's purpose on LinkedIn, and a University of Dhaka professor praised the program publicly for empowering young voters there.
That provides absolutely critical context. It wasn't some phantom fund DOGE just invented.
Not at all.
It was a real program just, reported in the wrong country initially.
Exactly.
And if you look more broadly, the official U.S. spending records, which are publicly available, by the way, on usethespending.gov, they definitively confirm it.
Confirm what?
No USAID-funded CEPPS project for voter turnout has operated in India since way back in 2008.
Wow. Since 2008.
Yeah. The last election-related grant to India was comparatively tiny, less than $500,000 between 2013 and 2018.
And what was that for?
Promoting competitive multi-party systems, not boosting turnout.
Okay. Different objective entirely.
Completely different. And actually, between 2001 and 2024, the vast majority, 64% of the $720 million USAID dispersed to India over the last 4 years went to health initiatives.
Health, not elections.
Barely a fraction for anything election-related. The numbers just don't support the claim.
So with all that data pointing elsewhere, how did India get dragged into this whole narrative?
Well, our investigation points pretty squarely to a mix, really. Sloppy fact-checking, it seems, from DOGE's initial post.
An error, basically.
An error that was then massively amplified by President Trump's public statements.
Which lacked evidence, as we now know.
Right. The detailed grant records simply didn't show any $21 million voter turnout program for India. It wasn't there.
And didn't a former Indian election official weigh in?
Yes, S.Y. Qureshi, who was the chief election commissioner back in 2012 when that MOU with IFES was signed.
What did he say?
He clarified it completely. He said the Election Commission's agreement with IFUs was purely for training purposes. No financial obligations involved whatsoever.
So that connection was also misrepresented.
Exactly. That clarification was another crucial piece of the puzzle that started to unravel the whole story.
But despite all this clarifying information coming out,
Yeah.
the facts hitting the table, the $21 million claim didn't just evaporate, did it?
No, unfortunately not. In India, it continued to fuel a pretty intense political slugfest.
Why do you think that is?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? Even after the facts started emerging, the initial narrative had gained such momentum.
Too much momentum to stop.
And so much political capital had been invested by different parties. It was just incredibly difficult to fully retract the conversation, the accusations, they just persisted.
You got it. The BJP, still seemingly keen to use this against the Congress Party, kept pointing fingers.
At the previous government.
Yeah, the UPA government, which was in power during that 2012 ECI-IFES MOU signing. Amit Malviya kept posting on X, accusing Congress of enabling forces opposed to India's interests.
Strong language.
Very strong. And Sanjeev Sanyal, an economist on the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council, went even further. He called USAID the biggest scam in human history and demanded a probe into who supposedly received these non-existent funds.
Wow. Okay, so really doubling down.
Meanwhile, the Congress, now armed with the evidence that was actually Bangladesh,
Right.
they cited the detailed reports to argue the BJP was actively peddling misinformation. Pawan Khera sarcastically questioned India's intelligence agencies, asking, where were Ajit Doval, IB, and RAW if these millions had really slipped into India unnoticed?
A fair point if the money was real.
And Jairam Ramesh escalated his demands, calling again for that comprehensive white paper on all USAID activities in India.
This really just showcases how, in today's world of information overload, political actors can leverage even thoroughly debunked claims to score points. It highlights the huge challenge for the average citizen, for you listening, to discern truth from political spin.
It really does. Meanwhile, the Indian Ministry of External Affairs, the MEA, took a more, let's say, measured official approach.
What did they do?
On February 28, 2025, the MEA formally requested detailed spending records from the U.S. Embassy in New Delhi.
For USAID projects?
For all USAID projects in India over the past decade, specifically excluding existing partnership deals. They wanted the data.
And did they get it?
Eventually.
Yeah.
On July 2nd, 2025, the U.S. Embassy responded. They provided data covering USAID funding from 2014 to 2024.
And
Crucially, they explicitly stated, quote, USAID India did not receive or provide funding of $21 million for voter turnout in India, nor has it implemented any voter turnout-related activities in India.
a flat denial based on their records.
A very clear official denial. And here's the major development that followed. The embassy also announced plans to close all USAID operations in India by August 15th, 2025.
Wow. Closing down completely.
Completely. With the State Department taking over the remaining small percentage, about 17% of its programs.
That's huge. The end of an era for USAID in India?
Absolutely. A direct fallout, you could argue, from
Listen.
this controversy and the broader scrutiny on U.S. foreign aid.
Yeah, that wider context is important too.
Definitely. This $21 million mess, while significant in itself, is really just one chapter in a much broader story, isn't it? U.S. foreign aid is under intense scrutiny right now.
That's right. Zooming out, DOGE under the Trump administration, they haven't just looked at this one supposed grant for India.
No.
They've really taken a sledgehammer to USAID's overall budget. They announced the cancellation of $750 million in international aid.
And that included?
That included the original $21 million Bangladesh grant, the one mistakenly pinned on India.
Ah, so the actual Bangladesh grant got cut too in the end.
It seems so. Along with other cuts, like $10 million for medical programs in Mozambique, nearly $10 million for youth skills in Cambodia, $47 million for education across Asia.
Significant cuts across the board.
By July 1st, 2025, USAID operations had reportedly been slashed by a staggering 83%.
83%.
Yeah, and an astonishing 94% of its staff laid off. Even its website was shuttered.
That's practically dismantling the agency.
That's a massive overhaul.
Now, critics are obviously quick to argue these cuts just fundamentally undermine global humanitarian efforts.
In crucial areas, right. Health, climate, development.
Exactly. USAID has supported things like TB control, renewable energy in India for years. Abruptly closing shop could definitely disrupt a lot of ongoing work.
But the defenders have their arguments too.
They do. DOGE's defenders, including Trump and Musk, they contend that USAID had opaque funding practices, alleged ties to political agendas, basically arguing the overhaul was justified.
And there are some pretty provocative statements made too, weren't there?
Yes. Vice President J.D. Vance, speaking at the Munich Security Conference back in February 2025, even hinted at USAID being involved in regime change operations.
Raising questions about its role in places like Bangladesh, maybe? Where protests did precede the ouster of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina in 2024.
Exactly. It added another layer of suspicion and controversy.
This brings up such a critical point, though. The whole controversy really underscores a fundamental challenge of our information age.
Which is?
The rapid, often unchecked spread of unverified claims.
Absolutely. DOGE's initial post, maybe it was well-intentioned in aiming for efficiency, but it clearly mislabeled a Bangladesh grant as an Indian one.
A single mistake.
That just snowballed, didn't it, into a diplomatic and political crisis.
And Trump's comments.
His off-the-cuff remarks, delivered with his usual flair, added significant fuel to that fire. despite, as we've seen, lacking any verifiable evidence for the India claim.
Right.
And then in India, both the BJP and Congress quickly seized the narrative for their own political ends.
And social media just amplified everything.
Oh, X had a field day. Posts ranging from, fervent accusations of foreign plots to people mocking Trump's rather geographically challenged Dhaka Delhi mix-up.
It became a meme, almost.
It did. But it's not the first time misinformation has clouded U.S.-India relations, is it?
No, sadly not. And Trump's documented history of, over 30,000 false or misleading claims during his first term.
Yeah, meticulously documented.
It just highlights the dire ongoing need for rigorous fact-checking.
It really does. And our investigation, the one that revealed the truth backed by official government data, it reminds us that truth often lies buried deep beneath layers of rhetoric. It needs careful excavation.
Well said.
So, wrapping this up, what did we learn from this really intricate deep dive?
Well, as the USAID controversy gradually fades from the headlines, the implications certainly linger, don't they?
They do. The Indian government's request for full transparency on USAID's decade of spending, that remains partially unanswered. The MEA noted on August 18, 2025, that the details are still incomplete.
Right. And the closure of USAID's India operations by August 15, 2025. That undeniably marks the end of an era for the agency in India. A major shift.
A very major shift.
For me, a key insight here is how this specific story, while rooted fundamentally in a factual error.
A geographical mix-up, basically.
Exactly. It brilliantly highlights the fragility of trust in international relations and the immense power of narrative, true or false, in shaping perceptions.
Yeah.
It serves as a really potent reminder, I think, that knowledge is most valuable when it's not just possessed, but understood and rigorously verified.
And for you, our curious listener, the takeaway seems crystal clear. Democracy, whether it's in India or anywhere else, is a precious thing.
It absolutely is.
And it thrives on transparency and accountability. This whole saga reminds us to question those bold claims, to diligently verify sources, and maybe resist the urge to jump on the outrage bandwagon that social media often presents so temptingly. As India continues its democratic journey, with voter turnouts that are consistently among the world's best, the focus remains squarely on strengthening its own electoral systems from within, free from the shadow of foreign influence, whether that influence is real or just imagined.
And maybe this prompts a final thought for you to consider. In a world just saturated with information, where a single misattributed number can ignite an international crisis, how do we, individually and collectively, cultivate the skepticism, the demand for primary sources that will truly help us navigate this misinformation minefield?
That's the critical question, isn't it?
It's not just about what we hear, but how rigorously we choose to verify it.